So yesterday we heard what Dhyana Yoga is and what are the basis of Dhyana Yoga, the internal stage of a yogi who wants to really concentrate his mind, and what are his characteristics, how should his ahar, vihar, shayan, jagran, all should be so disciplined. And instead of disturbing his inner systems, if he is able to do meditation in accordance to the laws of nature, the elevation is very fast. Our today's session is on 7th chapter. How can knowledge, with the help of Vigyan, science, if both are combined, how can a person elevate himself? Normally in the world also it is said that science and spirituality should both go hand in hand. And this is not the concept of today's world. This is what God Himself taught to Arjuna in the 7th chapter of Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. So, Supreme Soul is the most elevated soul, the supreme truth amongst all. Great men take his shelter with a lot of faith, but the impure ones divert their minds to other objects of worship. When in today's chapter we'll be seeing how bhakti became adulterated. When people used to worship only one, but slowly and gradually as the attitudes of people started changing, their forms of bhakti also started changing. And so what we see the stage of bhakti today was not actually in the beginning. And this has been clarified that initially the bhakti was also unadulterated. Only one supreme who was remembered by even the gods and goddesses. And when he's talking of knowledge and Vigyan, in Vigyan, God is explaining the eternal Vigyan, that this whole cycle, this whole play on this world is made up of soul, supreme soul and nature. Purush, Param Purush and Prakriti. And what is the science in that? That is being clarified. So from verse 1 to verse 7, the topic of knowledge along with science, Vigyan. From verse 8 to verse 12, the narration of the supremacy of God as being the reason for all the things. From verse 12 to verse 19, criticism of the ones with devilish nature and the praise of the devotees of Bhagwad. From verse 20 to verse 23, topic of the worship of other deities. And from verse 24 to verse 30, criticism of the ones who are ignorant of the influence and form of God and the praise of the knowledgeful ones. And here also, God has explained in this chapter many unanswered questions of Arjuna. And here he tells that, hey Arjuna, very few out of thousands, koto me koi, very few out of thousands try to know me. Still in the effort making stage. They try to know me, and very few out of those are able to know me. Practically knowing him, everybody is not able to understand and perceive, conceive that eternal form of God as he is. And the ones who depend on me and have yoga with me are very special. And they have special feelings. They very easily realize my complete form and are able to cross Maya. So those who are having that realization of the self and supreme, they are the So till all these chapters, maximum light was thrown on the existence of the soul and how the soul should be, what a yogi should be like. The soul is eternal, but then because of the influence of Maya, how they became, and then how a yogi should be, that was what God was explaining. But from now onwards, from the 7th chapter, the existence of the Supreme Being, how he is, that is being explained. And so he says, everybody is not able to know and realize him, but only a very few. And those who realize him have deep faith and can easily have yoga with him with very special feelings. And they realize his complete form as it is, and then they are able to overcome Maya also. Further he says, as I mentioned, that Vigyan is being explained. And the Vigyan is how this play is on this world between Purush, Param Purush and Prakriti. Purush is the soul, Param Purush is the supreme. He is also a soul, but supreme in his qualities, supreme in his attitudes, and supreme in his nature. And Prakriti, the influence of Prakriti and its 3 forms of gunas, that is being clarified. So this is the science. So he says that the world cycle moves on the basis of nature, soul and supreme soul. These are 3 eternal entity which cannot be destroyed. Yes, transformation comes in the nature of soul and nature. There is constant change that is seen. It cannot remain in that stage forever. But the supreme is constant, beyond the influence of the nature of this world. So he says that the world cycle moves on the basis of nature, soul and supreme soul. And amongst them, the most elevated one is me. God himself is saying, supreme soul, there is no truth more elevated than me. I am the seed. So we can realize who is speaking. Krishna cannot say, I am the seed of this tree. He said, I am the seed of the human world. I am the intellect of intellects. Buddhi vano ki buddhi. The one who is not against religion. I am not dependent on the gunas of nature. So the eternal truth is being clarified by the Supreme. And then he says the one whose knowledge has been abducted by Maya and have inculcated devilish nature, such humans who perform sinful actions due to their foolish intellect do not take the protection of the Supreme Soul. they are not able to realize Him, because the Gyan is abducted by Maya, and they are under the complete influence of Maya, as if there is an eclipse on them. So they are not able to realize God also, and therefore they perform actions under the influence of Maya, which is sinful actions only. And after the sufferings also, they do not come under the protection of God. They do not seek the protection of God. Such is their intellect. They are completely locked by Maya. They have a big lock on their intellects. And even though if somebody has good wishes and try to make them understand, but the influence of Maya is such that they are not able to open up their minds and intellects towards the eternal truth also. So then Arjuna asked this question, then who takes the protection of God? 4 types of people, he says. The first type are the artha, the ones who are in trouble, who are suffering. When they are on their bed of sufferings, their natural tendency is, oh God. So they start remembering God, and they seek the protection of God. God, please help me. And at that moment they have such faith in their intellect, that as if their voice is heard by the Supreme also. And he immediately rushes towards such beings also. The second type of people are known as arthatir, the ones who desire benefit in their business. They want to gain some monetary things, the material objects, so they also remember God. The third type of people who remember God are seekers, jigyasu. Those who are the seeker of knowledge. Those who want to understand what knowledge is. But the highest among them is jnani souls. The ones who know spirituality in its real form. So they are the highest amongst all. And that is why God also loves them. That is what he says. It is beyond doubt that all the above ones have elevated feelings. When the people are suffering, they have no selfish intent. They have elevated feelings for God. Even those who want to benefit, they also have feelings towards God. Even the seekers have feelings towards God. The jnani souls also have feelings towards God. But the percentage of feelings